Hey, welcome to our collaborative workshop on decolonising the voice. We
Yeah,
aim to provide you with a short listening reflection, writing and voicing experience in the context of a decolonised sonic experiential framework.
I'll take it from there, Dealey. Thank you. Sorry, I was confusing that with the sense that we're hosting and making sure we can have the breakout status.
Right, okay, yes.
That was all, yeah.
Um, right, regarding the breakout room,
We'll, no,
uh,
we'll do that in a minute. That's cool. That's cool. Let's take it through. Sorry, my hiccup. We're in a typhoon in this country. This has blown my brains out. We're supposed to be having a summer and we're not. So basically, this is all a bit mixed up. But I just wanted to say welcome everybody to this short workshop. And I'm Jane Boston, and I run the MA MFA Voice Studies teaching and coaching at Central. And my co-colleague is Dealey Dubé. Dealey, tell us who you are.
I'm Dealey Dubé, as you all probably know by now, and I'm a vocalist, jazz vocalist, and I've been working with Jane on this wonderful project for quite some time now, maybe up to a year, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's been so much fun, very intriguing, and insightful.
We want to
So,
bring a bit of that to you, don't we, today?
say again, Jane?
We want to bring a bit of that insight if we can. It's work in progress, yeah?
It is a work in progress,
And we've
indeed.
got a short but sweet time together. So the idea today is just to give you the opportunity to situate yourselves in relation to a range of sonic communities and to see if we can identify any elements in the ways in which they have positioned you socially, culturally, and politically in relation to the formation of your own vocality. Deep concepts here, but we hope to at least invite you into some of the ideas we've been working with. Our main thing is that we argue that what you hear is formational in terms of what you're able to express and voice. That's the key premise of our work. And we pay homage to Toni Morrison's view that the codes and the restrictions that lie at the heart of white culture get reproduced in the sonic environment to which everyone is exposed. And that's the key thesis, trying to really work with unconscious and conscious, deep down processes. And as Dealey's already said, it's part of a collaborative project we've undertaken together. I've been grateful for the dialogue as the course leader under which Dealey studied. And we've learned so much from being on the teaching side and the studentship side. I think that's been formational, hasn't it? Apart from anything else that we represent culturally and socially and politically. It's great to see so many familiar faces here today too. I'm just finally spotting the gallery, so it's really cool, lovely. And we just want to make sure that everybody has a little taster from the workshop today to produce a short voice text in relation to the provocations we offer you. And we hope it sort of begins to get underneath the idea of forming a different way of becoming sonically situated, so we can foster some bridges between communities and decenter this notion of whiteness, which certainly has been the perceived operational sonic norm in UK public life and ergo into UK conservatoires, drama schools, etc. So we're really tackling something deep at the heart of particularly UK civic life, and I know US as well. Whiteness is a term we're using. It's familiar to many of us in the high HE sectors, but we're using it here to specifically refer to the system of racial bias and prejudice that has historically centered all civic identities in relation to the melanated profile of its white-skinned citizens. So we're going in for the jugular, really, right at the heart of things. We just want to finish this preamble with saying we want to examine a few of the ways in which this whiteness as a concept affects not just our optics, but our oral perceptions. We really want to go here beyond accents, that phenomenal subject, accents and dialects, beyond language itself, really to think to a closer sense, really at the conscious and unconscious level of how the sonic textures of sound, how they affect and influence us. And we offer this as a challenge to the sounds of mainstream whiteness that in the UK at least perpetuate a kind of sonic social distancing. And that's our preamble and our premise and our opening shot. Just before we begin, I hope you've got something to write with. I'm sure you do, something to write on, and a space just to make a bit of sound. And you're all signed up to this conference, so I suspect that will be the case. So welcome, welcome here. I'm going to send you over now to Dealey for her welcome and just a brief check-ins with you all. So Dealey, over to you, hon.
Thank you, Jane. Again, greetings and welcome all. I just wanted to kind of tap in and check in with you all and see how you are all feeling today, and just wanted to kind of tap into your well-being in general. So if there's a way we could perhaps share one word about how we're feeling. So perhaps we could start with, on my screen, I've got, begin with Amy Stoller. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Amy Stoller, if you'd like to start.
Hi, I pronounce it Stoller.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. I know an Amy Stoller who spells her name the same way. So it's just family stuff. How am I feeling?
Yes, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling engaged, but also slightly oppressed by a sinus headache.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hoping
that's it.
Hoping that you feel better as we run through the course of today's conference. So yes, thank you very much, Amy. Lovely to see you. And next up, we have Jed Owen Ellis Clark. How are you, Jed?
If you want one word, I would say lovely.
Lovely. Fantastic. That's love all around. Thank you very much, Jed Owen. Okay, and up next we've got one that I know, Kate. Hi. Kate was on the same course as me on the maths course at Central. We were in the same class, so good to see you. How are you, Kate? How are you feeling?
I am invigorated and excited. I have two words. Sorry.
Okay.
Invigorated and excited. Fabulous. Brilliant. Lovely to see you, Kate. Thank you for joining us. And following Kate, we've got Jan Gist or Gist. Please correct me if I've pronounced your name wrong.
The name is Gist. The gist of the name is Gist. Yep. And my word is tender.
Tender. Oh, lovely. Nice and warm. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Lovely to see you. Next up, we've got Jeremy Torre. Oh, please correct me if I'm wrong.
You were right at first. Sortor. Settled.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Brilliant. Lovely to see you. And following up, we've got Sarah Nichols. How are you, Sarah? How are you feeling? One word.
Hi, I'm warm. I'm warm today.
Thank you, Sarah.
Just what we need, because it's been raining in London today.
Bloody cold here.
Oh,
yeah, that's it. Raining and blustery. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Great to see you. Next up, we've got Hetal Varia. Is that correct? Yay.
That's correct.
Hi, Hetal.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I am feeling extremely, that's two words, nostalgic.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant. Nostalgic. Oh.
Powerful concept.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Hetal. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Next up, we've got Michael Dean Morgan. How are you, Michael?
I'm feeling hopeful because there's a lot of good things coming in the window here, the Zoomy window.
Cool.
Oh, brilliant. Great to see you, Michael. Thank you. And following Michael, we've got Kimberly Conkle. Have I said that correct? Conclay.
It was correct, Kimberly Conkle. I'm in California, so I'm feeling a bit sleepy. I got up at 4:30 a.m.
Oh, thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here. This is my first conference, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kimberly.
Thank
Lovely
you.
Next up, we have Chris Danford. How are you, Chris?
Hi. I'm feeling a bit fragmented today.
Fragmented. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Fragmented. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Chris. Brilliant. Great to see you, and thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Elizabeth Montoya, and I can't see it's a double-barreled name. I can't see the rest of it because of the screen, but how are you, Elizabeth?
Hi.
Hi.
I feel expectant.
Expectant. Ah, that's a good one. Lovely. Great to see you, Elizabeth. Thank you very much for joining us today. Following Elizabeth, we have Pamela Prather. Is that correct?
It's Prather.
Thank you.
So many words. So I got this one because it just encapsulates all kinds of stuff. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There I am.
You got it. You got the big word there.
That's right. That's a great one. Thank you, Pamela. Great to see you, and thank you for joining us. Next up, we've got Irene Friend. How are you, Irene?
You find it hard to pick one single word. There's so many wonderful words, and I can't settle. So I'm just going to go with blank page for now.
Blank page. Thanks, Irene.
Thank you, Irene. Lovely, great to see you. And then we've got Claudia Nova. Lovely how you spelled it out phonetically. Great, thank you. Claudia.
Yes, I'm feeling chloro and salsedine.
Okay.
It's Italian for chlorine and saltiness.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Great to see you, and thank you for joining us. Now we have Camille Colley.
Hi, I'm feeling very open today. I've been to a couple talks and I'm learning a lot and seeing a lot of new faces and new people.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you, Camille.
Foster.
Hi, I'm feeling fuzzy.
Fuzzy. We like that.
Hi,
Thank
Jane.
you, Foster. Hi there. Hi there. I'll whip along and take a turn at this, Dealey, if that's okay. So we don't want to spend too long, but we want to do this as an acknowledgement and of our way of operating, in fact, to acknowledge. Audrey.
Oh, I'm also feeling very open today, ready to absorb.
Thank you. Thank you. We've had Amy, we've had Diane.
No, you haven't had me. Hello, everyone. I'm feeling lifted.
Thank you, Diane. David Morden.
Good morning. Good morning from Arizona. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed this morning.
Yeah. Zoom does that to one, I think. Thank you, David. Paula. Hello, Paula.
I'm feeling curious.
Okay, thank you. That's nice. That's nice. Hello, Darren.
Hi, Jane.
Hi.
I'm feeling bubbly.
Bubbly, good. We need bubbles. Colleen, gosh, all these lovely people.
Hi, I'm feeling excited. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. So hello,
It's
everybody.
wonderful. It's truly special. Lovely to see you. Thank you. Cynthia?
Savoring.
Lovely. You've got a savoring cup in front of you too. Lovely. So we move on. I'm just checking out where I am in the gallery. Nick.
Oh, hello. I'm coming to you from Camaragal country in so-called Sydney, Australia.
Oh, wow.
The word that I'm experiencing right now is that feeling when I know I need to be in bed, but I just can't walk away from my laptop right now because I've been learning and experiencing so much. I'm sure there is a German noun or verb for that.
Thank you for sharing the experience on the other side of the world. Thank you. Amy. Amy, are you there?
Hi, my word is here. I am here.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Sarah.
Hello, my word and also the reason why my camera is not on is back pain. I'm not in an elegant position right now, so I'm here, I'm participating, but not with my camera on. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you for sharing that. I hope you feel better. Thank you. Shannon?
Hi, great to see everybody, and I'm feeling nostalgic.
Oh, okay. 2 nostalgics today.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I've got now Tessa.
Hi, I'm feeling energized today.
Thank you. That's great. Michael. Are you there, Michael? Okay. Zoom etiquette says I'll move on. Sure. Who's the next one up? Where have I got that?
I've got David Morden down at the corner of my screen. But
You
I don't
handle
know.
the last few. My computer's gone funny. You carry on.
Sure. We've done David Morden, haven't we? Have we? Yes. Okay, right. So let me see. It's all kind of reorganized itself for some reason here.
Rosie. Let's take Rosie, I've got.
Rosie. Okay, yeah. Rosie. How are you, Rosie?
Hiya, I'm all right. I'm frantic, like that's my word, and I also am. So that's why I've got my camera off, because there's a lot going on.
Okay, thanks, Rosie.
But hi.
I've got one more. I've got Vivian.
Vivian, okay. I can't see Vivian, but yeah. Vivian, how are you doing, Vivian? Right at the corner of my screen here. No, Vivian.
Cool.
Okay, that's fine. Perhaps you'll join us later. Fine. Okay, Jane, shall we proceed? Thank you, everyone, for your one-worders. Okay. Right. So I'm just I'm a bit conscious about the time because we have run over slightly. And that's all due to all of you wonderful participants. We didn't know what to expect, to be honest, in terms of how many, but it's been such a great turnout. So thank you all, really.
We include you all, yeah.
Exactly, and that's paramount to what we do as well. And it's a wonderful pleasure to just share this space with you all today. As I said, the weather's been very blustery as well today. It's been raining all week pretty much. But that said, I'm going to begin by laying down some ground rules that we should all try to be mindful of today. And it's just a few pointers that I'd like you all to take into consideration. So I'd like you to just take care and to be considerate to the acts of listening and speaking during today's conference. To also show some generosity of spirit with regard to the lived experience of each participant in this space. To also have curiosity about the vocality of others without recourse to co-option or judgment. And to respect for respect for the positionality of all participants in terms of best inclusive practice here. Well, I'd also like you to be considerate, have considerate reflection on bias and preference in order to generate consciousness and sensitivity to the ways in which voice and listening can be more inclusively enacted. It's acknowledged that the experience of the recentering process can be quite painful at times and challenging, as well as enhancing and progressive. And the offer of a reparative space is an important element in this workshop. So
thank you, Dee. Thank you. We really are so aware that the world of our thinking is entering into very deep and complex areas, and we are really just sort of touching the surface. But nevertheless, touching the surface is a complex act, and we just want to offer our respect for this deep process that is ongoing. And I think without much further ado, I just want you to think about a sound. A sound, we first thought of a word, now we're thinking about a sound. Don't give it too much thought, but it's just a human or non-human sound. A creaking door or bird song could be as relevant as the sound of a person. And I think really what we're trying to promote here is the idea that there's a choreography of sounds in our surroundings. And we want you to give particular focus to its texture, if you like, the tone, pitch, volume, rhythm. Is it a short or a punctuated sound, long, smooth, sharp, loud or soft? So there's something about the textual, or as in Roland Barthes, the grain of it, as it impacts on your being. And when we worked on this for our previous workshop, Dealey offered a glorious example of some sound in her own sonic environment, just to set the ball rolling, if you like. Dealey, would you care to offer your sound?
Thank you very much, Jane. Yes, I happen to reside in an area that's very green and on top of a hill. And I have this beautiful birch tree outside of my large window, living room window. And we get lots of parakeets and birds and crows and foxes. So it's quite naturous. And every morning, even afternoon, I hear these sounds. In fact, it's great company, beautiful sounds from the parakeets. And I'm just going to demonstrate what I hear every morning, okay? So, so it's that kind of sound that I get every morning, and it's just so pleasant to hear. So that's my sound that I'm sharing with you today, and I'd like you to perhaps join in. And
we thought if we keep you on mute, if you find something in your own space, give yourself a moment just to sound it out, and don't feel that you need to share it. But then the invitation will be to bring it into the wider Zoom space, and we might make an offering after in Dealey's shape, really, after your offering. So a sound in your own space. What comes to mind without too much thought? Sound it out. Release the nostalgia or the franticness or whatever's going on. Put it into your sound. Yeah. Hey, what?
The excitement, even.
Yeah, excitement. Yeah, anticipation. All of these things might feature in your sound.
Okay.
So it might be a question of being brave that we all come off mute and make the cacophony of the sounds together, which can be interesting and totally confusing. But so what I would suggest is that, because there's so many of us here and we won't be able to be that individual, but if we just bravely come off our mute at the end of the count of 3 and we sound together. 1, 2, 3.
I really love.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Wonderful. What a symphony of sound.
Yeah, fantastic.
Beautiful. Beautiful symphony of sound there.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're trying to say is we're surrounded by sounds on so many different kinds of levels that aren't speech, that aren't the kind of level of speech recognition that we have, and they formulate our being as much as anything. And it's in this textured area that we're perhaps not always so conscious of that we want to work, and they fall, these sounds. I'm not sure how many went to the animal world, but you may have gone to the inanimate world as well. The creaking door or the sound of these sirens, for example, if you're in an urban environment, they often penetrate quite a lot, don't they? The police siren, the ambulance, the sort of warning signs. or nature sounds. But anyway, these are sounds in a sense that fall outside the social sphere of conversational judgment, the area where we really do go straight in there and notice class, and we notice gender, we notice racial identity. But these sounds might be just opening up that possibility of those sounds that are outside those judgment spheres. And it's just a way to focus into the workshop. It invites you to listen again, respond again, and then reflect about the sounds of the voices. So we take the sound from the world at large and then transfer that skill, if you like, going a little deeper to the sounds you hear and the impact on you. So what we're trying to get to is now the voices, the sounds of the voices around you in your family, the sounds of your friends, your associates, your professional colleagues, the performers, the public speakers and mentors that form part of your sonic reckoning, if you like. And today you're invited to explore some of the ways in which you listen and receive, so as to better understand how those mixes, those influences have formed your own speaking voice. It will also help you think more deeply, perhaps, about the ways we the complex ways in which we code switch, we mimic, we conceal, we have free expression sometimes, but not in all communities. And all of these elements of restraint and release and containment and enlargement, they form, they contribute to our vocal identity. And that's really what we're trying to get under the skin of. Vocal identity, or plurals, vocal identities. So that's really the kind of framework that we've been talking about, Dee Lee. And if I pass it over to you now.
Okay, thank you, Jane. Okay, well, I'm really glad, as I've said already several times already, I'm really glad to engage in this work because it has highlighted a number of topics that deals with previous areas of lack within within the sonic environment during my upbringing. It has enabled me to delve deep, uproot, and reflect on the most influential voices of women and men in my life, from childhood to the present day. It has also helped me to gather an understanding about why I have consciously adopted a certain speech pattern that is quite eloquent and perhaps well articulated in public, but one that also tends to be quite more MLE in more familiar settings. My late grandmother was a highly influential woman in my life, and my mother is the main Black woman in my life. As a child, I remember there not being many other women of colour that I aspired to, apart from those within music, film and television. So that's my story in brief. Now I'm just going to ask you all to make yourselves comfortable and write down one of the vocal sounds you have grown up listening to that are closest to you in your familiarity. Give it a colour, as this can be very helpful in awakening the context for the sound, and note down what stands out about the sonic textures of tone, rhythm, and pace. In identifying sound, shape, and colour of sound, we can fruitfully sidestep the intellectual narrative brain and locate our intuitive functions. For example, in my own case, I would identify my mother's voice as the colour yellow. Her diction, phrasing, vernacular, and dialect are all accented by the South African and Zimbabwean English sounds, and includes the multicultural English MLE and non-RP sounds. The quality, timbre, texture, and tone of her voice are all fairly high and light, gentle and slightly animated and reassuring, warm, vibrant, clear, with a consistent spoken pace, which is sometimes upbeat in rhythm, depending on her mood, of course, but mainly calm and collected. So the common thread that I have managed to detect in my relative's spoken voice is that of a certain vocal quality that is imbued with warmth and resonance, a roundedness that is sonically quite familiar and immediately recognizable to me. The identifiable vocal tradition and sonic distinctions pertain to a certain type of texture that I would describe as warm, resounding, and authoritative, with or without an accent.
Thank you, Dealey. Thank you. So we hope perhaps you've been having some time to think a little bit and scribe something down as Dealey was talking. Because I think what we're trying to say is sharpening our awareness to the feeling sound awakens in us. And it's the feeling that we sometimes don't respond to because we're responding to the logic of the thought, or we're responding to logos. So there's always this layers. And if we can get to something about the sound that we need, the sounds that were familiar to us, and maybe the sounds that sometimes are lacking, it's just trying to get us to that point of recognition. So we hope you've had a moment to think of something. Take this voice now with the mute on, and just I think we should just stretch out with that sound. So you've got some space to gesture it. Give it a gesture into the space that you've got around you, and be aware of your feet as they meet the earth, and just think about the ways in which this voice you've created has a three-dimensional breath to it. So you've got some life coming whilst giving thought to this voice, the person behind the voice, and give yourself a yawn and a stretch and a hum and a giggle and a sigh and a laugh through that as you give voice to them through this spontaneous sigh through your vocal range from high to low. And just think about shaking it out. Shake it into the space where you are, and let this color be part of your profile here. You've heard it, you've thought about it, you've remembered, you've recollected, and then just think about how this color is associated with the sound. And as with spray paint, just give it a texture and shape and form and spray it into the wall in front of you, around you, the ceiling, wow, wherever it comes, and whether that color is a feature of it, what kind of staccato punctuation you've got on that painting, and spray all the combination of the effects of the voice, and then stand back and survey the results. Survey the results of your sonic remembering, your sonic reflection, and see if that color has brought somebody clearly to mind, whether your sound and color had some effect together. And what we thought we would do, give yourself a coda to that. See the fruits of your labor, acknowledge it, thank it, thank yourselves, and then bring yourselves back to the communal space. And what we thought we'd just take a few minutes in breakouts, if we can do that, to see what the features were that came to mind, the features of this voice, the features of the qualities, if there's anything notable that you'd like to share with anybody. And, we won't go any deeper than that, but just any notable features about the sound that you recollected and recreated. So now's the challenge about creating the breakout rooms, if we're capable of doing that, which I'm not sure I know how to do. Dealey, can you do it from your end?
Yes, let's see now. Okay, claim.
Because I never did get host function, so it might be that we don't do that.
Yes, there's something about claiming the host, so I'm going to do that now.
If you do that, then we should be able to let people just be in slightly smaller spaces where they can think about this or share other insights.
Exactly. Okay, so I am the host, and
we'll take 5 minutes.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can make you co-host, or unless you're already co-host, Jane.
It's just you're fine if you're hosting. You can just set out the breakout rooms, I think.
Okay. Let's see how to do this.
It was a gorgeous cacophony, by the way, Nick. I agree. Thank you. Just looking at the chat here.
Right. Okay, I'm trying to find breakout rooms, but I can't seem to find it. Would it be on the bottom panel? For some reason I can't see it. Breakout rooms.
Sometimes if there's something that says more, you might want to click on that and you might see breakout rooms there.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
No, it's not there.
I didn't see it on mine either. So maybe what we should do is really, well, we haven't got the function of breakout. So rather than keeping ourselves mute on the experience we've just had, perhaps we might take 1 or 2 key examples from anybody who'd like to volunteer, what happened in that process of recollection and painting and sonic connection. And then we can just reflect in our own way, in our own Zoom space on that. But if anybody would like to come off mute and offer us a recollection, that would be really, really lovely.
I'll start.
Thank you, Michael.
The color was particularly helpful, and I realized that when I toggled between 2 similar memories of a grandfather and a grandmother who spoke the same kind of space in Amarillo, Texas. And my Mama Lou was very light and very kind. But when I go to my grandpa, who had a stroke, he had this very different placement, but the colors changed my sense. I didn't do it through placement. I did it through the color. And I went, what is it? What's the feeling of this space? And one was, it moved differently. It smelled different too. That's the other one I missed, was that there was a smell that shifted in the recollection as well that was joyful. So that's my 2 cents.
Michael, thank you. That's so vivid and useful for us to have that feedback. And it's something we're finding that's congruent with feedback from our last workshop, where that something about color was an excellent contextualization for oral recollection. So, but also you brought in the wonderful sense of smell and whatever is awakened by that optic sense. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Anybody else want to offer? Pam.
Oh, okay, Pam first. I've got Kimberly. I've
So
seen
sorry.
raised her hand. Kimberly, yes, please go ahead.
I was unmuting. I thought of my mother, and she lived far away from me for many years. She was in Atlanta, and I'm in California, and she would call me, several times a week, and I sometimes leave a message. Hi, this is your mother calling. And I see blue, like a soft blue. She had blue eyes and kind of something queenly around the edges of the blue, like diamonds or a blue with a tiara on top. I mean, she was sweet, but a hard diamond edge to her, but you wouldn't hear it in her voice, except that kind of, this is your mother. So that's
wonderful.
Mine.
Deeply evocative and poetic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you, Kimberly. Is there anybody else who'd like to share?
I think Pam did.
Pamela,
Lovely. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, what was interesting, since it was we're having kind of a bit of an open sharing, but I wanted to share the moment of the choreography of sounds, because we didn't get to quite do that. And that there's where I just moved, I hear these cars, it's like this. And just by doing the exercise, it gave me a lens shift that was like, oh my God, it's like breathing. It's no longer an irritating sound at all, but it's like a swish of breath. And so I thought it was an interesting road in to opening and shifting perspectives or lenses around a perceived sound that could be, oh, I don't want to hear traffic, or I don't want to hear a car, but I'm like, oh, it's like breath. So it was a beautiful exercise, and it really like made me go, wow, I love this, you know? So thank you so much for that.
Oh, no, that's amazing. I mean, you know, exercises are one thing when they're conceived, but actually when they're put into action, and you've just put that beautifully into action and given it its kind of rationale. So it's a wonderful circuit you've given us there. The breath, the sounds like breath. Yeah, wow, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Pamela. Okay, brilliant. Nick, please go ahead. Okay.
Nick, you're still on mute. Hi there. I just wanted to say I didn't quite have time within the scope of this particular session to really delve into what you're working with, but I really, really appreciate and love what you're attempting to do, because what I did experience relates to my current situation. I'm in Sydney. I'm a South Australian, in Adelaide-based resident. I'm currently stuck in the city and I can't get back there, so I am currently staying with my parents. So the voices that I heard were the voices of my parents, and what was interesting to me is the difference between them, and and how I normally perceive them versus how I'm perceiving them now. And that my father, I hear very much as a sort of a loud presence, but also as a presence which is warm and interested and focused on the other. And I think the reason I wanted to speak is because the contrast with my mother is that she is a listener, and how she listens is something that I always notice. Because when she speaks, it's because she has been listening for so long, and her quality of voice is completely different to my father's, because she has been listening to everything that he has said and everything that everyone else has been trying to say while my father has been speaking. So this idea of and I often talk about in couples and relationships, there's usually a spokesperson in the relationship and someone else who is probably the one who wants to speak but doesn't. And I just in doing that, that's all that was at the front of my mind, was that disparity between a voice which readily emerges and a voice which waits.
Thank you.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense, and I think this work takes us to that relational levels of noticing. You know, we notice how the relationships of sound around us, whether they're parental or associative with friends or colleagues, but they're all important spheres of influence. And I think if this work takes us to how our parental relationship has formed our perception of the world in terms of listening and responding, it's going to be key formational stuff. And the more we can do about that, it gives us generosity and empathy, I believe. Thank you.
Thank
really
you.
helpful, Nick. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we have 4 minutes left. Do we have time? Jan, was that an offering?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then we have Camille. Sorry, before you go, Jan, can we take Camille after as well?
I do apologize.
Do you want Camille to go first?
Oh, no, please go ahead, Jan, and then we'll go to Camille. Thank you.
So here's the sound. Oh, honey, you can't live like that. And that is my mother. And that brings a combination of Jewish culture and pushing me off balance. I don't get a color as much as I get an action of pressure that pushes me off balance and a lifetime of searching for my balance.
Oh,
wow. Thank you. Again, an eloquent evocation of familial positioning. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. That's great. And lastly now, we have Camille.
Hi. I really struggled with this one. I'm not exactly sure why, but I settled on, I did a lot of camp counseling over the summer, and I've been missing it with Corona, because it's not really an option. We can't have big groups of kids together. And so I just, everybody kind of started talking about the emotions in like relativity to sound, and how different it was. Like the first color that came to mind was yellow when I hear like a big group of kids often doing what we did at the beginning of this session, making like a cacophony of sounds. And sometimes that can be wonderful. And then another thought came to mind where it's like 5 a.m. on a Saturday and I have to be at camp teaching these kids. And the color then was not yellow, the color then was red, because now I'm frustrated with this cacophony of noise. And I would like rather be resting. But it was just interesting that it can be the same noise, but for everyone it can be different, how everyone was talking about their parents and completely different factors. I just thought it was interesting for different situations as well. But that's what my mind settled on. So, yeah.
Really interesting. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Camille. Jane, before we continue, can I just read out a few messages that have popped up in the chat?
Please do. Got 2 more minutes, yeah.
Okay, very quickly. So Kate Webster has shared her observation that she had a similar reflection. Foster, using a non-verbal sound of my mother's and then springboarding from there to her voice, was very powerful to Kate. And I think that concludes our sharing. Just another important message from Pamela regarding the whole platform here. If anyone has been having trouble with the website, the whole new server has been reset, and hopefully that will make the day more smoother. So just to let you know that that's happened. From Nick Cunroe, vocal tone, intonation and culture. I'd love to discuss more about that. Okay, brilliant. Just trying to include everything here. Okay, Jane, I think we should perhaps now move forward.
Yeah. I mean, really, we do apologize if this has felt like a whistle-stop tour of something that is very deep and significant, but we nevertheless wanted to offer our toe into the water for the work that we're doing that is very deep and important to us all, I think, as voice professionals. More about what we hear anon, I think. Just finally, thanks so much for participating, and we hope you enjoyed this little brief focus on the spoken sounds we all make, the sounds we make. And this was giving consideration to how the spoken spectrum of sound relates to the ways we belong to community and family, and aids and abets our personal identity, and in some senses is an aid to resetting our unconscious norms. That is our offering. Thank you very much for being with us. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you. So good to see you all.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You have been great. Open. Yeah, lovely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to share something before everybody goes.
Thank you.
It was the sense of the space where I focus on my mother's voice, and it was that space where she always was. It's a very open space that I never have found again in this world, and the world is changing so much for me in terms of sounds. So this sound of her voice in this very big house with a central patio, and she calling is a voice that sprang me into action in the world, and her sense of joy, the vivre, and the sense of going there and doing things and being careful with the things you say. It was very special for me, this exercise. I really appreciate it. I say thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Oh, wow. Really fabulous. Thank you.
Jane, it's wonderful to see you. I just had to say hello, and it's great to see you. What a beautiful workshop.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. So,
and Dealey, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so pleased to see you.
Thank you, and likewise. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I just, can't go to everything, but I was like, oh, this feels like, you got to follow your intuition or your guide. But, I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. You both handled it with grace. We've had some server issues, and I think hopefully it was nothing to do with you. The breakout spaces were somehow deleted, but from here on forward, they should be back in. So sorry again, but you both handled it with grace.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Lovely to see you too.
Lovely to see you. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Bless you. Bye bye. Bless you, Dealey.
Oh, thank you, Jane.
Shall we debrief? Shall I Zoom you? We debrief.
Yes, we've got one more participant left here, Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Yes, but maybe I hope he's okay. Okay, so shall I perhaps log
Michael
in?
is there, I think.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah.
Michael. Oh. Okay. Shall we perhaps I'm not sure if he's around.
We'll just sign off, I think, and he can re-sign to the next one. Thank you, Michael. We're going to go now.
Yeah.
Best wishes.
Thank you, everybody.